Hello and welcome back to Cutting Words. I'm Brad Thompson, and today we're going to take a look at the second half of the Unearthed Arcana Character Origins, the playtest material for 1D&D, the next edition of Dungeons & Dragons. In my previous video we covered the first half, which was all the new player handbook race options, and there's a link to that above me in this video. Now, right now we're going to look at the back half now, which covers the character backgrounds, the first level feats, and various rules changes. Right, let's dive on in. Alright, so the character backgrounds. These backgrounds, they've got, if you're familiar with backgrounds, they're very similar to what they were in the current edition of D&D, but they made a few tweaks here now, including feat, and they're defaulting to that's encouraging you to build your own custom background, but they do have example ones you can just pick from as well. So scroll on down. So to build a background, they're made up of, there we go, background features. So let's see. So you get to choose, this is where the ability scores come in. So you get to choose increase of 2, increase of 1, or 3 increases of 1 step bumps. So no longer is it kind of tied to the race at all, it is now part of your background. And justify it, like, yeah, I worked in the mines, also got a strength bump here, or something like that. And then we got a skill proficiencies, so you get to choose 2 skills, your character gains proficiency in them. Tool proficiency, so you get 1 tool, your character gains tool proficiency with, and you get to choose 1 language from the standard languages or rare languages table. And there's a few new language entries in there, which we'll look into soon when we get to the languages. Alright, so that's kind of the template for building your own background. So let's see, let's just jump straight to some example ones. So sample backgrounds. Oh wait, I should scroll up. I'm getting ahead of myself. There's also the feat, of course. The first level feat, which is effectively replacing the background feature. So no longer can a pirate can get a free drink at the pub, or someone getting free lodging wherever. Those background features that we all used so much, if we use them, are gone, and we actually get a first level feat instead, which is vastly more useful. Bit of a power creep, but I guess it's better than background feature no one ever used. So, and starting equipment, you get 50 GP to spend on starting equipment, and they've set all backgrounds to be the same amount of money worth of stuff you start with, as opposed to different backgrounds starting with more value. Not that they add too much, really. You think that starting money goes pretty quick either way. Alright. Alright, let's go over a few of the sample backgrounds, because there's a few of them we don't, once you see a couple, you get the idea. So the Acolyte background, which should be familiar to most, is a pretty common background, I feel. So this one is this is a sample background. You got +2 wisdom, +1 intelligence. You get insight and religion, calligrapher's supplies, 4 tool proficiencies, and a language, celestial, and feat, magic initiate, divine. So a divine spell. So yes, so you do it yourself to a temple, blah blah blah. Just the flavor text. There's no mechanics in here at all. The mechanic is the feat, so there's no free lodging in your temple. It is just you learn some divine rights, which are represented by the feat. Any equipment, you get 50 GP worth of stuff here. So holy symbols, holy symbols are 3 GP now. Bit of a drop, which is great. They're pretty expensive before. I think they're 25 GP. So yeah, service supplies, robe, parchment, and a book of prayers. Alright. Skip ahead. That's fine. See, there's sure, that's criminal. pretty good one. Plus 2 dex, plus 1 intelligence, sleight of hand and stealth skills. Get thieves tools, always good. Language, thieves can't. So thieves can't is now a language option you can take when you're not a rogue. So that's pretty cool. Well, you couldn't, but now you can. Awesome. Feat, alert. Get the alert feat. And then you get various thiefy equipment. Alright. So you're getting a general idea here. And we'll skim past all these. Alright, so many sample ones. Oh, good old Urchin. I think Urchin's probably the most common background, I believe, just because it's pretty damn good. And it still stays pretty good. Dex and Wisdom as a bumps, Insight Stealth, Thieves Tools, Common Sign Language. There's another new language there. And the Lucky Feat, which has been modified a little bit, but still really good, and arguably better. Because Lucky you really need the bump, but we'll get to that in a sec. Anyway. So those are all the kind of sample backgrounds there. And yeah, but they encourage you to build your own based off that template. So pretty flexible. And I assume the Dungeon Master will encourage you to have a background that makes sense to your character. So stats line up and encourage you to write a backstory that lines up with it as well. It's always nice having encouragement to get players to give you something in their backstory to work with as a DM. Alright. So the standard languages. So real languages. So we got common sign language, dwarvish, elvish, giant, gnomish, goblin, halfling, orc. Rare languages, abyssal, celestial, deep speech, draconic, druidic. So now you can pick druidic as a language without being a druid. Infernal, primordial, sylvan, thieves can't, and undercommon. So yeah, so thieves can't, druidic, and common sign language. Well, new options there you can choose from with your background. Or I guess with your race if you get a bonus language. I don't think there's many of those anymore now. I think they're fixed. But yeah. Very interesting. Now, onto the feats. So the feats, this is just the first level feats here, just so you know what type of feats you're choosing from when they say first level feats. And they've only updated the player's handbook feats as well, the first level rider here. So these feats, so you get one first level feat with your background, and you can, but also humans get a first level feat as well. So if you're human, you technically start with 2 feats now. Ooh. But they have to be these first level ones, so they're not as well strong, generally speaking. There's no great weapon master here, no polearm master. Anyway, that's the feats. All right. Okay. The prerequisite, and if it's repeatable, you can take it more than once. If it's repeatable, you can't take the feat only once. All right. There's any repeatable feats in this, but anyway, let's have a look. Okay, the feats. So alerts had some changes. So alerts, first level feat. Alerts one of those feats I've always really like the look of. I keep wanting to take, but I never have room to take. Oh, so I won't mind taking an alert, but no room for it. But maybe not anymore. If we can get it with a background. Alright, so it's a first level feat, prerequisite none, repeatable no. So you get initiative to proficiency. So when you roll initiative, you can add your proficiency bonus to the roll. So it's pretty cool. And so if you're a Herongon who have that built in as their racial ability, that's double proficiency to your initiative. That's interesting. But yeah, so that scales up with your character. As your proficiency bonus goes up, you get more bonus to initiative, which is quite nice. As opposed to that stat at +5. So that stat +5 was pretty good. Initiative Swap. So this is a new ability. So they got rid of the old ability in Alert where people hiding can't get advantage attacking you. So instead you get Initiative Swap. Immediately after you roll initiative, you can swap your initiative with initiative of one willing ally in the same combat. You can't make the swap if you or the ally is incapacitated. So that's interesting. They've never done anything where you muck around with initiative style combat, like, hey, let's trade places or hold my spot until next round or anything like that. There's been no kind of initiative shuffling rules like that in D&D. And yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I'm trying to think of situations where, oh, I rolled really well or really crap, and there's someone else who rolled the opposite and is keen to swap. Because I'm assuming we all roll initiative here, and we don't necessarily know what initiative the baddies are on, so you can't really math out exactly like, oh, actually, I'd be better if I operate right after the enemy goes or just before their turn. So it'll be more general. Because most people, I feel, are pretty greedy and want to go, yes, I got first, perfect. Maybe on a rogue, because sometimes it can be annoying when you want to get that sneak attack, but there's no allies adjacent to the enemy yet. So maybe you want to swap with someone. So then the negative dex paladin can get in there quickly, and then the rogue finally can get in there and sneak attack. Maybe that's a good example for it. Maybe. It's an interesting one. Something to think more on than just a swap. Yeah, it's alert. Next we have the crafter feat. This is a brand new feat. You get a tool proficiency with 3 different artisan tools of your choice. Discount. Whenever you buy a non-magical item, you receive a 20% discount on it. Alright. Don't see this scaling that well at high levels because, I mean, generally after the low level, you're mostly spending money on magic items, non-magical stuff. Who does that? I guess it depends on the campaign, how much bookkeeping you're doing. Faster crafting. When you craft an item using a tool with which your tool proficiency, the required crafting time is reduced by 20%. Yeah, even again, of interest over time for crafting as is. Alright. Well, we'll see what they do. Maybe this edition they're trying to really give a bump to tools and get tools get used more. Personally, find these tools are the goer. Everyone uses these tools. Other tools, less so. Doesn't come off as often. I guess it really depends on the table and the campaign. Right, that's crafter feat. Okay. Healer feat. So first level feat. This is similar, but they modified it a little bit, this feat, from the original. So you get the battle medic ability. So if you have the healer's kit, you can expend 1 use of it and tend to a creature within 5 feet of you as an action. That creature can expend 1 of its hit dice, and you roll that die. The creature regains a number of hit points equal to the roll plus your proficiency bonus. Oh, that's interesting. They actually specify action in here. Oh, does that make the battle medic thief rogue combo not work anymore? Maybe. So thief rogue, a fun build was thief rogue can bonus action use an item. So the bonus action use the healer's kit. And with this healer feat, they can heal people as a bonus action as they run around the field. So maybe not. Interesting. And then healing rerolls. Whenever you roll a die to determine the number of hit points you restore with a spell or with this feat's battle medic benefit, you can reroll the die. If it's a roll, if it rolls 1, you must use the new roll. Okay. So a slight bump to healing. Okay. Sure. Healer feat. Lucky feats. First level feat. Well, no, I don't know why lucky is a first level feat. I always found lucky ridiculously good, and always gave great sass to any player who took it. I really took lucky. Really took the very boring, very good feat. Really, you took lucky. Really, lucky. Anyway, here we go. Lucky. First level feat. Yeah, I can see everyone taking this one. We know it's a problem when people always take the same feat. But anyway, luck points. You have a number of luck points equal to your proficiency bonus. You can spend the points on the benefits below, and you regain your expended luck points when you finish a long rest. So, gee whiz, I was really thinking, man, the lucky feat really needed more luck points. Sure, you start with 2, but eventually at high level, you'll have all up to 6 luck points. Yeah, we really need that many rerolls or whatever in the game. Okay. So, they changed it though. So advantage. So immediately after you roll a d20 for a d20 test, you can spend 1 luck point to give yourself advantage on the roll. So d20 test is just any roll with a d20. And so rather than going, let's reroll that die, it is apply advantage or disadvantage. As when a creature rolls a d20 for an attack roll against you, you can spend 1 luck point to impose disadvantage on that roll. So it means you can roll, basically you're spending a luck point to roll a second d20 and with advantage take the better result of the 2, disadvantage they have to take the lesser result of the 2. And that wouldn't do anything if the creature, if you already had advantage with the roll, or the creature was already attacking with disadvantage, or had advantage. So I guess you'd just, I guess you'll just cancel out one of their die. So it is less flexible slightly, because it means you can't get the 3 d20s in the roll there. You can't roll advantage, then luck point, reroll one of them. You're stuck with just kept at 2. But it's a very minor nerf. Overall, I think Lucky Feat being more luck points to spend, and it's one of the free first level feats you get with your background. I think overall it's winning here. Lucky Feat. Oof, so good. Gotta reroll those d20s. Alright, Magic Initiate. First level, non-repeatable, yes. You must use different spell lists for each time. There's repeatable ones. You can take Magic Initiate multiple times. Oh, so you could be a first human with the getting Magic Initiate, and you could have a background giving you Magic Initiate of a different spell list and start with lots of spells. Right. So when you learn, when you pick this, you have to pick either Arcane, Divine, or Primal. So those are the 3 spell lists they got now. Arcane being the kind of Wizard, Sorcerer, Warlock, Bard spells. Divine is the Cleric and Paladin spells. And Primal being the Ranger and Druid spells. So they can kind of combined and labeled the spell list there. So you gain the following benefits related to that choice. 2 cantrips, you learn 2 cantrips of your choice from that spell list, as well as choose 1 first level spell from the spell list. You always have that spell prepared. You can cast it once without a spell slot, and regain the ability to cast it in the way when you finish a long rest. You can also cast a spell using any spell slots you have. And you can choose Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma, and consult so that is your spell casting ability for this. So that means, you're not, if you choose, you want an arcane list, wizard spells or whatever, and you're a charisma caster, you're okay. You can still use charisma for these, which is a huge bump to this, because that was one of the problems with Magic Initiate before. So that's cool. All right. Musician, this is a new feat. Resets no, repeatable no. You are a practiced musician, gaining following benefits. So instrument training, you gain tool proficiencies with 3 musical instruments of your choice. You really need 3 of them. Inspiring song, as you finish a short or long rest, you can play a song on a musical instrument with which you have tool proficiency and give inspiration to allies who hear the song. The number of allies you can affect in this way equals your proficiency bonus. So inspiration is a floating advantage. So you give it, you can either have 1-on-1 inspiration, and you can choose to spend it whenever to re-roll d20, to roll 2 d20s and take the better result. So inspiration. Okay. Spend out some advantage. You can do it. Short or long rest. That's the first mention of a short rest, I think, in this whole document so far. The short rests do still exist. Confirmed. Short rest confirmed. Short rests are still there. Yeah. They still live. But perhaps only for healing, because a lot of abilities aren't refreshing on a long rest or anything so far. Their proficiency times long rest all these times here. But that's interesting. Short rests. Short rest confirmed. Alright. There's been a lot of rumors that a short rest might be out the window. Alright, Savage Attacker. So first level feed, prerequisite none, repeatable no. So what you get is when you're trained to deal particularly damaging strikes. When you take the attack action and hit a target with a weapon, as part of that action, you can roll the weapon's damage die twice and use either roll against the target. You can use this benefit only once per turn. So that's still the same and still pretty average. Right. Skilled, first of all, feat, proves at 9. Repeatable, yes. Oh my goodness, you could be a, first of all, human with a background, so getting skilled and get skilled from your background and start with, and the humans get a skill as well. So you can start with 7 skills. Oh my gosh. Yes, I do know everything, actually. So you have exceptionally broad learning. Choose 3 skills in which you lack proficiency. You gain proficiency in those skills. So yeah, humans can now start with 7 skills. That's crazy. What have you been doing with that many skills? That's okay. Cool. It's kind of fun. Repeatable skilled feat. Sure. It works. Tavern Brawler, first level feat. Proves at 9. Repeatable, no. So enhance unarmed strikes. When you hit with the unarmed strike, you deal damage. You can deal bludgeoning damage equal to 1d4 plus your strength modifier instead of the normal damage of an unarmed strike. Damage rolls. Whenever you roll a damage die for your unarmed strike, you can reroll the die if it rolls a 1. You must use a new roll. Okay. You're good at punching things. Shove. When you hit a creature with an unarmed strike as part of the attack action, on your turn you can deal damage to the target and also push it 5 feet away. You can use this benefit only once per turn. Okay. Virtuous Weapon. You can wield furniture as a weapon using the rules of the Great Club or for small or medium furniture and the rules of the club for tiny furniture. Okay. Sure. Let's have a ruler. Tough. Your hit point maximum increases by an amount equal to twice your character level when you gain this feat. Whenever you gain a level thereafter, your hit point maximum increases by additional 2 hit points. So still the same. Tough feat. Alright. And that's it. First level feat options. Now to the rules. So yeah. So there's the feats. I think Lucky's still the clear winner here. Magic Initiate's right next. And I guess you like skilled? There's a freebie in the background. But yeah. Probably Lucky. Lucky's pretty good. This is interesting. What do you think of the everyone's staying with the first level feat? Or if you're human staying with 2 feats. Yeah, these limited first level feats. So clearly they're only showing the first level feats, so clearly Great Weapon Master, Power Master, Sharpshooter, those feats are clearly not first level feats. Shouldn't even make it into the next edition. Be interesting to see, because they were very potent feats. So we'll see if they stick around. It's always a problem I feel when people always pick the same feats, I found. Because those were kind of the go-to martial feats. And there wasn't really any other feats to compare with. So we're interested to see what they do about that problem. So I feel like there's options that everyone always takes. It's a bit of a problem. It's nice to have reasonable other options there in power level. So yeah, we'll see what they do. But clean our first level feat problem, which is good because I found very swingy Great Weapon Master and feats like that at low level. Very swingy feats. So I've always encouraged them in my games for players to not have them until later level when they're a bit more reasonable. Alright. Anyway, so rules glossary. Let's go over these rules changes they're suggesting here. So we've got arcane spells. So it's just the terminology. An arcane spell draws on the ambient magic. Multiverse. So bards, sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards. Harnesses magic as do artificers. So they I wonder if artificers will appear in the player's handbook now, actually. Interesting. Or whether they'll just leave it in Tasha's. They're mentioning it there. Yes, those all count as arcane spells. Alright, artisan tools, yep. Same there. Creature types. Same there. D20 twist. D20 twist, just roll D20. Okay. Roll like 1. Oh yeah, so yeah. Here we go. So what they've done with D20 tests, the D20 tests, right, include ability checks, attack rolls, and saving throws. We roll D20. Those were their mean for the D20 test. And they've got some general rules now applied to all 3 rolls now for this D20 test, which we'll get into now, which is very interesting. Way to go. If you roll a 1 on the D20, the D20 test automatically fails regardless of any modifiers to the roll. Right, so that is attack roll, which is normal, but also saving throw and ability check. So you might be like a bard with expertise and you got a plus, I don't know, plus 15 or something stupid to a persuasion check. You roll a natural 1, even though the DC may be only 10 or whatever. There's no possible way you could fail. Now, like, nah, you fail. What? So there's always a 5% chance of guaranteed failure for saving throws, ability checks, and attacks. So the attacks were always a thing, but they've included that for saving throws and ability checks. There's no saving those from 1. Okay. I'll continue. Now also, roll a 20. If you roll a 20 on the D20 and the D20 test, automatically succeeds regardless of any modifiers to the roll. Player character also gains inspiration when rolling the 20, thanks to the remarkable success. Rolling a 20 doesn't bypass limitations on the test, such as a range and line of sight. The 20 bypasses only bonuses and penalties to the roll. Okay, so with that is so again, so now before it was a D20 critical success was only something that happened in combat for attack roll, to do attack roll, and it is a guaranteed success no matter what. Skill checks and saving throws weren't included. Now they've included that with skill checks and saving throws. So that means, you're in these, you're in this impossible situation, but if you roll a D20, then you somehow manage to break out of these dimensional shackles or whatever. This DC 30 check, you have a penalty to roll, but somehow natural 20, you manage to get out, I guess. Or yeah, it's interesting one. I know a lot of tables have homebrewed, house rolled D20 critical success in skill checks and saving throws, and I don't like them generalizing like this. I don't think they need to change that rule to include those so much. It's very swingy having guaranteed success and failure in these things, and skill checks and saving throws. Because 5%, you just fail. Though I guess with all this inspiration running around, where you give advantage for everything, then it's unlikely that you'll hit the failure condition unless you're all double ones. If you got plenty of inspiration rolling around the group, and more likely to hit the 20s. So, so yeah, because yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. But yeah, they're trying out. We'll see. Because it should be, certain situations just should be impossible. You can try, and then there might be levels of success, but no, like, overall D20, you've got to succeed, you got to do that. Like, no, if you're locked into these shackles or whatever, the high DC than you could possibly reach your bonuses, you roll D20, then maybe, you might gain levels of success. Like, they may be like, oh, you managed to do this thing, loose up your bonus enough so you can get to the rogue's thieves tools to help the rogue get out, or something like that. But like, you can do levels of success, but I don't think a D20 should be guaranteed auto success on everything. It's an interesting one. Now, further on that, the critical hits. Oh dear. So, weapons and unarmed strikes have a special feature for player characters. Critical hits. If a player character rolls a 20 for an attack roll with a weapon or an unarmed strike, the attack is a critical hit, which means it deals extra damage to the target. You roll the damage die of the weapon or unarmed strike a second time and add the second roll as extra damage to the target. For example, a mace deals bludgeoning damage you got a 1d6 plus your strength modifier. If you score a critical hit, the mace, if it is, instead deals 2d6 plus your strength modifier. If your weapon or unarmed strike has no damage die, it deals no extra damage on a critical hit. Alright. So there's a lot to unpack here, what they've changed. So critical hits used to work for any attack roll d20 and double all the dice. So with this change here, they've taken away spells. So Firebolts can't crit, Eldritch Blast can't crit, Guiding Bolt can't crit. All any spells with attack rolls can no longer crit. In addition, it's only the weapon that's damage dice being doubled. So it seems Paladin Smites no longer double, and Rogue Sneak Attack no longer doubles. Which, a lot of the fun with critical hits is rolling lots of dice. It's grabbing a big fistful of dice, all your Sneak Attack dice, all your Paladin Smite dice, and just rolling them all. So that's I don't like that. But further, this is only for player characters. There's no mention of NPCs here. They've actually removed the ability for NPCs, enemy monsters, to critical hit players. It's a player character only ability. So in Jeremy Crawford's interview about this change, he said that's because a lot of players, it can be very swingy with critical hits, especially at low level for players. That's the most common cause of player death, is low level characters getting critical hitted by enemy monster and just instant damage wrap and dying. So I guess it depends on the games and things. Like personally, I find people really hard to kill players in D&D. I've only had I think I caused maybe 2 player deaths all up. It's not many, and normally it's pretty easy to fix. So yeah, it's and I like the, why are you taking the fun away from the Dungeon Master? Like the oh shit moment when critical happens, like, oh no, the baddie's critical hitting you. You can see them trying to help out early level players, but I think there's better ways you could do that. Either get them a little more starting hit points or something. If you're that worried about critical hits, like seriously. So yeah, so they made critical hits very kind of bland. So they kind of like, rather than being a big spike of damage, they kind of leveled it out, took away from the NPCs altogether. No criticals for you. And instead, and also the big spikes from rogues and paladins, that's gone. Instead, just a little bit extra damage, So yeah, which, I don't know, takes away a lot of the fun, I think, from critical hits. Makes natural 20s less impactful in combat. So, Also, if any enemies can't critical hit, they can do it, like D20 isn't on an auto success for enemies. How on earth are low level enemies ever going to get past players with high AC? Like someone in full plate, cast shield or whatever, they walk through a horde of goblins, and no point rolling damage for these goblins because that's attacks with these goblins because it's impossible for them to hit. They can create situations where it's impossible for monsters to hit players. There's no like 1 in 20 chance that they'll crit and get through your AC 29 or something stupid you're walking around with, which can be a thing that players can get to quite easily, even without magic items. So yeah, I don't like that at all, and that's not to mention the inspiration. So when you get 20, you get a inspiration, which feels unnecessary. D20 is already getting you a success. Do you need inspiration as well? Which is that floating advantage you give out, that you get and you can use. I always feel like there's already too much advantage in the game as is, and just adding more advantage, it's just, you feel just be flooded with advantage on every roll. There's so much advantage, it's a bit silly. Everyone's going to roll 2d20s all the time. So I feel like there's already too much out there. Like help action, people helping each other give advantage. And it's taking, as well as taking a toolkit from the DM where, we can award situations like, oh, actually, that's a really good move you did there. Actually, you can roll that roll with advantage. And the player will be like, well, actually, I already got advantage for this roll, so, You know, and so what is the DM supposed to do? I guess I modify the DC of the check. Cool, that feels less cool rewarding the player, because the player can't see the DC of the check. They don't actually know what the DC is, so you doing that feels less rewarding. You don't really have, there's nothing left for the DM to outwardly award the players for doing good roleplay or doing helping each other out, doing something, because there's so much advantage already flowing around, and that's it. Advantage is the only toolkit a DM has for that. So just giving it away and kind of spamming inspiration around is taking away a lot of that. So I don't like it. Don't like this inspiration spamming around. So summarize, all their rules are doing here for this D20 test with critical failing on all checks and critical succeeding on all things, and giving out inspiration, and also taking away critical hits from spells, mites, and instinct attacks, and NPCs. Don't like any of it. Nah. Is my summary of this whole section, the D20 test section here. What do you think in the comments below? Is there anything I missed here? Because, yeah, basically all sounds terrible to me. Don't like it. Don't like it. It's my initial reaction. But hey, I'm going to try it out and see, but I just don't like it. You know. Divine spells. Yeah, the spells for the clerics and paladins. Alright. Game set. Cool. Grapple condition. Yes, this has changed. So while you're grappled, you experience the following effects. Your speed is 0 and can't change, no matter what. You have a disadvantage on attack rolls against any target other than the grappler. That's new. That's very interesting. Way of tanking. You can grab someone and then they have disadvantage to attack anyone but you. Or during speaking, he could grab it. Didn't want to kill the person grabbing them anyway. But that's cool. Movable. The grappler can drag or carry you, but the grappler suffers the slow condition, which is a new condition we'll get to soon, while moving, unless you are tiny or 2 or more sizes smaller than the grappler. So escape. While grappled, you can make a dexterity or strength saving throw against the grapple's escape DC at the end of each of your turns, ending the condition on yourself on success. The condition also ends if the grappler is incapacitated or something moves you outside the grappler's range without using your speed. So normally you have to spend an attack to do a contested roll against the person grappling you, strength athletics, to escape the grapple. So with this change, it is you don't spend action, it just happens at the end of your turn. So you're guaranteed you're grabbed, you can't move that whole turn, and then in your turn you just roll and to see if you make the saving throw to get out. Yes, that's it. So I don't know. Okay, this happens. Right, option of action. It's just a saving throw, which is interesting. I guess it gets around the fact that the monsters aren't normally trained in athletics or acrobatics to help them. I guess they're trying to streamline that when players grapple monsters, because they're not normally trained in those skills. I don't know. So yeah, this is a new grapple condition. What do I think on that? And we'll look at the slow condition, what that means as well. Okay, incapacitated. So it's a slight change in capacity condition. So inactive, you can't take actions or reactions, so that's normal. No concentration, your concentration is broken. You can't concentrate on spells or anything. Well, incapacitated, that is the same as written, but it was never listed under condition. It was listed under spellcasting in the player's handbook, which is a bit messy. But yeah, incapacitated means you can't concentrate on a spell anymore. You're speechless. You can't speak. That's new and cool. Surprise. If you're incapacitated when you roll initiative, you have disadvantage on the roll. Alright. Inspiration. So here's the full wording on the inspiration mechanic. When you have inspiration, you can expend it to give yourself advantage on a D20 test. You must decide to do so before rolling the die. Getting inspiration. Your main way character gains inspiration is by rolling a 20 for a D20 test. The DM can also award inspiration to a character who's done something that is particularly heroic or amusing. Only one at a time. You can never have more than one instance of inspiration. If something gives you inspiration and you already have it, you can give your inspiration to a player character in your group who lacks it. losing inspiration. If you still have inspiration when you start a long rest, you lose that inspiration. And that's it. There's inspiration. Alright. Long rest. A long rest is a period of extended downtime, at least 8 hours long, during which a creature sleeps for at least 6 hours and performs no more than 2 hours of light activity. Just reading, blah, blah, blah. That's the same. Oh, actually, we're in a long rest. So, I don't know, so inspiration was always been an optional rule in the DMG. Have you, I don't know, out there's used that much? I personally haven't. I never found I needed it. My players are already pretty good at using help action and doing things to get advantage anyway. There's also other ways to get advantage in the game. And never needed encouragement. I think this was a mechanic most to encourage players to roleplay and kind of do things in character. And I never found I needed to do that. My players are already good at just roleplaying, and so I never felt the need to give out inspiration. But yeah, every table's different. Have you played around with the inspiration much? What do you think of the inspiration mechanic and it being used more? He plays more in the game and more mainstream than the game, rather than being an optional rule. Do you think that's a step in the right direction? You want more inspiration? More inspiration, please? Or less so? Less of that? Alright. So minutes of a rest. So we're getting points. This is all the same. Half your hit die back. Yep. Can be for a long rest more than 24 hours. Yeah, okay. Interrupting a rest. Start all over again. You get a short rest if you rest at least an hour. Sure. I think pretty sure it's all the same. At least I've been running it that way. Alright, musical instruments. Yeah, we know what those are. Primal spells, so they are druids and ranger spells. Alright, slow condition, here we go. New condition. So while you're slowed, you experience the following effects. Limited movement. You must spend 1 extra foot of movement for every foot you move using your speed. Attacks affected. Attack rolls against you have advantage. Dexterity saves affected. You have disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. So I wonder if they'll use this slow condition, this new condition, for things like when you're in difficult terrain kind of things. So they'll apply when you're in difficult terrain, you get the slow condition, which means if you're in an awkward spot where you're difficult to walk through in your turn there, you're going to have advantage attacks on you while you're still in that, caught up in that shrubbery or what have you. So I wonder if Load will be on the slow spell. That makes sense. They change text to slow spell to include that condition, or you include that with like Tangle or Plant Growth or something. Yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with this condition. New conditions of the game. All right, tool proficiency. If you're proficiency with a tool, you can add your proficiency bonus to your ability check you make that uses that tool. If you have proficiency, where is it? In that skill that's also used with that check, you have advantage on the check too. This functionally means you can benefit from both the skill proficiency and tool proficiency of the same ability check. I like that. Even though I've just said, more advantage in the game, yuck. But it makes sense, because like it's always been a case of like, I want to use this musical instrument to perform. Cool, give me a charisma performance check. Oh wait, but I'm already pushing the musical instrument and performance, so I guess that doesn't mean anything. But now, no, you get advantage with that, so that's something. So that's quite cool. It's either that or potentially add proficiency twice would be the way to go, because well, it depends. If they're keeping this inspiration thing in, I feel like this advantage is not going to come up so much because everyone's going to be swimming with advantage anyway. But yeah, I'm glad they're referencing that, because that was definitely a problem with tools overlapping with skills. All right, Tremor Sense. Tremor Sense can pinpoint location of creatures and moving objects within a specific range, provided the creature with Tremor Sense anything is detecting. Both in contact with the same surface, or the same liquid. Oh, liquid. Okay. Never realized. Never thought about that. Liquids. Always thought about ground. Yeah, okay. Tremor Sense can't see creatures or objects in the air, and Tremor Sense doesn't count as a form of sight. Oh, it doesn't count as a form of sight. Okay. Or sight by spells and things. Strikes. That's all the same. I think, oh, actually, hold on. An armor strike is immediate attack. Yep. Use your body, your bonus to hit. Armor strike. Okay, it's all the same. So damage is the same. So 1 plus your strength modifier. Okay, or grapple. The target is grappled and the grapple's escape DC equals 8 plus your strength modifier plus your proficiency bonus. This grapple is possible only if the target is no more than 1 size larger than you and if you have a hand free to grab the target. What's your proficiency bonus? There's no mention of athletics there. So, what's athletics for now? If not for grappling, and you can push it 5 about prone, this size is possible. The target is no one's. Yeah, there's no mention of athletics here. Shoving and grappling, you don't need athletics. What? You just hit them, you can push them. No check. Athletics? Is athletics going away? Why are they doing it to athletics? Poor athletics! What are they doing? What's the skill list going to look like then? What do you use athletics for then? Athletics was like the go-to combat skill to use in combat for shoving and grappling and doing all sorts of fun shenanigans. And are they getting rid of that? Oh, so sorry, martial strength characters. There goes all your utility. All right. Interesting. Spellless. Okay, so yes, just saying that it's got the list, Arcane, Divine, and Primal, and it's just showing first level spells that support this document. They haven't gone through all the spells, and there's only spells in the front of the player's handbook. So there we go, got the Arcane, Divine, and Primal spells. Spell list there. Notably, I noticed here is under Arcane spells. We do some Warlock spells in here, but we don't have like Armor, I guess it's Armor, but we don't have Eldritch Blast. Eldritch Blast is not a cantrip on this list. So it makes me think maybe that's going to be turned into a Warlock class feature, like a Warlock only thing. Interesting to see where they go with that. But it's not here. It's noticeably absent from the Arcane cantrip list, which is very, very interesting. So yeah, we can see what to do there with that. And that's it. That's the whole playtest document. So there we go. That's the first playtest material for the next edition of D&D. 1D&D. The playtest survey, where you can tell Wizards of the Coast what you think of this, these updates to the rules, these changes, will be live on dndbeyond.com on the 1st of September. So you'll be able to fill in and let them know so you can get the rules you want when they finally release the final product in 2024. Until then, there'll be roughly monthly releases of new playtest material. We're very interested to see what they change next and what's coming out next, and we'll do videos covering those as they come out. All right, make sure you don't miss those videos by subscribing to the channel. Just hit that subscribe button, and yeah, it helps the channel grow. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Until next time, I'm Brad Thompson, and this has been Cutting Words. Happy gaming. See ya.